beautiful, my lady, your eyes like midnight skies, a soft whisper in the twilight, where every secret lies. Your smile's a stolen sunrise, it lights the world anew. I stumble through the darkness just to get to you. Oh, beautiful, my lady, you're the song I want to sing, the melody that echoes, the joy that love can bring. Oh, beautiful, my lady, your heart's a sacred flame. I chase the stars forever just to know your name.
Your laughter paints the heavens, a canvas wild and free. The way you move, it's poetry, like waves upon the sea. I'm lost within your orbit, a planet out of line, but gravity's your love, pulling me every time.
If I had 1,000 lifetimes, I'd spend them all with you. In every fleeting moment, my dream would still come true. No need for gold or riches, no castles made of sand. Your touch is all I treasure. Just hold me in your hand. Oh, beautiful, my lady, you're the song I want to sing, the melody that echoes, the joy that love can bring. Oh, beautiful, my lady, your heart's a sacred flame. I chase the stars forever just to know your name. Oh, beautiful, my lady, your love's a boundless sea. I'm anchored in your harbor, right where I wanna be. dust on the frame. It tells no lies. Whispers of us still linger in the air. Did we fade or did we fly? Remember us, the way we laughed, the way we burned, the love we had. The moments froze, the clock stood still. Remember us, will you? A shadow walks where we once danced. Footsteps echo a hollow chant. Did we lose or did we find the pieces left behind? Hearts don't break, they just bruise. Memories, they choose. Remember She stood beside the crossing light, a scarf wrapped tight around her doubt. The red still held, the green delayed, and time kept folding inside out. He walked ahead with wooden grace, a toy too quiet for the sound. She didn't call, he didn't turn, just vanished past the waiting ground. The signal blinked too late, too slow to catch what slipped away. She watched him fade into the dusk, and autumn didn't ask to stay. The cars moved on, the street grew still. Her breath was caught between the signs. No words were said, no steps retraced, just silence drawn in broken lines. No names were called, no stories kept, just distance wrapped in quiet air. The city blinked, the moment passed, and left her standing unaware. The signal blinked too late, still glowing where her shadow fell. She stayed until the night grew deep, then walked alone with none to tell.
She spoke beneath the turning trees, a question folded in her breath. The sky grew still, the leaves held on, and silence lingered close to death. He passed with something in his hand, a wooden horse worn and shy. She didn't ask, he didn't stay, just walked beneath the quiet sky. The wind didn't answer, it moved but never said a word. She waited for a sign to come, but nothing in the air was heard. The bench grew cold, the light grew thin. Her voice grew softer than the rain. He vanished past the final turn, still holding what she couldn't name. No names were called, no stories kept, just distance wrapped in quiet air. The city sighed, the season turned, and left her standing unaware. The wind didn't answer, still brushing past her open hand. She stayed until the last leaf fell, then walked away from where she
sat where silence used to speak, a bench beneath the amber light. No words were carved, no names were left, just passing glances lost tonight. He held a toy, a wooden shape. She watched it sway but didn't ask. The wind moved slow, the leaves stood still, and time erased the quiet task. The bench forgot their names, like rain that dries without a trace. No memory held, no story kept, just space where longing used to face. She stayed until the light grew thin. The city blurred behind her side. He walked beyond the final turn, still holding what he didn't try. No letters etched, no voices stayed, just distance folded in the air. The bench remained, the night moved on, and left no proof that they were there. The bench forgot their names, still waiting where they didn't meet, a place where love could not begin, but left its shape beneath their feet. She sat with hands upon her lap. The bench was old, the air was thin. No words were spoken, none were asked, just quiet folding deep within. He came and paused but didn't stay, a wooden horse held in his hand. Their eyes met once, then looked away, like strangers drawn in autumn sand. A bench between two silences, where longing didn't dare to speak. The wind moved slow, the leaves stood still, and time grew fragile, soft and weak. She stayed until the light grew pale, the city dimmed behind her side. He walked beyond the turning trees, and never once looked back to try. No names exchanged, no stories told, just distance wrapped in quiet air. The bench remained, the night moved on, and left their moment hanging there. A bench between two silences, still waiting where they didn't meet, a place where love could not begin, but left its shape beneath their feet.
He walked beneath the amber light, a wooden toy held in his hand. She watched him from the quiet side, still waiting for him to withstand. No words were said, no eyes were met, just footsteps fading into gray. He didn't stop, he didn't turn, he carried what he couldn't say. He carried what he couldn't say, like autumn folded in his coat. She stayed behind the silent glass and held his absence in her throat. The bench grew cold, the sky stood still. Her breath was soft, her hope was thin. He vanished past the final turn, still holding what he kept within. No letters sent, no stories told, just silence wrapped in quiet air. The city blinked, the moment passed, and left her standing unaware. He carried what he couldn't say, still pressing it against his chest. She stayed until the last light fell, then walked away with all the rest.
She waited where the benches bend, her coat still holding yesterday. The sky was low, the light was thin, and he forgot to stay. He passed with something in his hand, a wooden horse, a quiet grace. She looked for words he didn't leave, just silence in his place. He forgot to stay, like autumn rain that falls before you feel it near. She held a moment in her breath and watched it disappear. The wind moved slow, the street grew still, her shadow stretched across the stone. He didn't turn, he didn't ask, and left her there alone. No names were called, no stories kept, just footsteps fading into gray. The city sighed, the season turned, and he forgot to stay. He forgot to stay, like passing time that slips before you say goodbye. She stayed until the last leaf fell, then walked beneath the quiet sky. She stood where the platform ends, a scarf around her quiet hands. The clock had stopped, the lights grew dim, and no one came to understand. He passed with something carved in wood, a toy too small for words to hold. She didn't speak, he didn't stay, just silence folding into cold. She waited past the last train, past every chance to turn around. The rails grew still, the wind grew loud, and love was nowhere to be found. The benches emptied one by one, the sky turned pale, the night grew thin. She stayed until the stars gave up, still hoping he might wander in. No names were called, no stories kept, just distance wrapped in quiet air. The station sighed, the season turned, and left her standing and aware. She waited past the last train, still holding what he didn't say. The tracks grew dark, the world moved on, and autumn took the rest away. She stood where the benches end, a scarf around her quiet hands. The sky grew dim, the street grew still, and no one came with soft demands. He passed with something in his hand, a wooden horse, a silent gift. She didn't speak, he didn't pause, just walked beyond the evening drift. No one asked her to stay, no voice to hold her fading name. She watched the light grow pale and thin, and knew it wouldn't be the same. The leaves fell slow around her feet, like promises that lost their sound. She stayed until the last train sighed, then left without a single bound. No stories told, no letters kept, just silence folded in the air. The city blinked, the moment passed, and left her waiting unaware. No one asked her to stay, still standing where the shadows play. She walked into the quiet night, and autumn took her words away. He held it close, a wooden horse, small hands once carved with care and grace. She waited near the rusted gate, with autumn written on her face. No words were said, no steps were slowed, just passing through the falling light. The gift he meant to leave behind stayed silent in his grasp that night. The toy was never given, like love that never found its name. She watched him fade into the dusk and knew it wouldn't be the same. The bench grew cold, the sky turned gray, leaves gathered where her hope had been. He walked beyond the final turn, still holding what she'd never win. No story shared, no promise made, just distance wrapped in quiet air. The city slept, the season turned, and left their moment hanging there. The toy was never given, still waiting in his quiet hand. She stayed until the last light fell, then left without a place to stand. She stood beneath the amber light, hands folded like forgotten time. The wind passed through her quiet coat and left no trace, no reason, no sign. He walked with something carved in wood, a child's toy, worn and small. No glance exchanged, no words to give, just silence stretching down the wall. The street lamp stayed on after After she left, still burning where her shadow fell, a light that knew what he did not, a story she would never tell. The bench grew cold, the night grew thin, leaves gathered where her footsteps stopped. He turned too late, the moment gone, and autumn held what they forgot. No names were asked, no voices raised, just distance wrapped in quiet air. The city slept, the stars looked down on two hearts unaware. The street lamp stayed on after she left, still waiting in the silent rain, a light that watched the parting slow and never asked again. I still can see the gentle light that filled your eyes that fateful night. No angry words, no bitter tears, just silence holding all our ears. The way you said goodbye, so soft, so true, a tender smile that still feels new. Though time has flown and dreams must die, I can't forget the way you said goodbye. Your hand let go, yet lingered near, a fleeting touch, a quiet tear. No promises, no last embrace, just memories time cannot replace. The way you said goodbye, so soft, so true, a tender smile that still feels new. Though time has flown and dreams must die, I can't forget the way you said goodbye. And though the night has turned to day, your voice remains, it will not fade. A gentle song that fills the sky, forever in the way you said goodbye. Tender smile that still feels new. Though love has gone, my heart will try to live within the way you said goodbye. I see your face, the world stood still. A touch of grace, a gentle thrill, one fleeting glance, yet I could find a lifetime written in your eyes. Forever in that moment, love was ours to keep, a tender flame that time could never sweep. Though life may change and seasons drift apart, that moment lived forever in my heart. The night was warm, your hand in mine, a sacred vow beyond the time. The music played, the stars aligned, and love became a song divine. Forever in that moment, love was ours to keep, a tender flame that time could never sweep. Though life may change and seasons drift apart, that moment lives forever in my heart. And though the years may fade away, your kiss remains, it will not stray. A golden dream that still survives, the sweetest gift of all our lives. Forever in that moment, love was ours to keep, a tender flame that time could never sweep. Though days may pass and new horizons start, that moment lives forever in my heart. We found a rhythm in the laughter, a melody in every day. No need to chase what comes hereafter. We've got the music, come what may. Hearts in harmony, beating as one, shining together like morning sun. Every moment, every line feels like love in perfect time. Hearts in harmony, soft and strong. We've been singing all along. The little things become a chorus, a smile, a glance, a gentle word. No silence ever falls before us. When love is something always heard. Hearts in harmony, beating as one, shining together like morning sun. Every moment, every line feels like love in perfect time. Hearts in harmony, soft and strong. We've been singing all along. Let the world keep spinning fast. We've found a tune that's built to last. No need for grand or loud display. We're in sync in every way. Hearts in harmony, clear and true. Every note belongs to you. Through the highs and lows we see, love remains our melody. Hearts in harmony, hand in hand. Together we will always stand. If I could turn the night around, erase the silence, lose the sound, I'd find the place where we belong, where every heartbeat sang a song. Once more in your arms I'd find my way. Hold back the tears, let love remain. Though time has gone and dreams have flown afar, I long to be once more in your arms. The gentle touch I can't replace, the warmth that lit your tender face, a fleeting kiss, a last goodbye, still lingers softly in the sky. Once more in your arms I'd find my way. Hold back the tears, let love remain. Though time has gone and dreams have flown afar, I long to be once more in your arms. And if the stars should grant me one embrace, I'd lose the years, the emptiness erase. No power on earth could break the charms, if I could be once more in your arms. Once more in your arms I'd find my way. Hold back the tears, let love remain. Though life goes on and love may bear its scars, I'll dream of you once more in your arms. The night was still, your lips were near, a fleeting touch that felt so clear. You said goodbye, yet in my heart that tender kiss would never part. A kiss that lingers through the years, a gentle flame through joy and tears. Though you are gone, it still remains a sweet refrain love can't explain. I walk alone where we once stayed. The music fades, the moments fade, but every breeze, it seems to know the kiss you left so long ago. A kiss that lingers through the years, a gentle flame through joy and tears. Though you are gone, it still remains a sweet refrain love can't explain. Time may take the light of day, but it can't steal what won't decay. The love we knew, the vow we made, lives on in what your lips conveyed. A kiss that lingers through the years, a gentle flame through joy and tears. Forever true, it softly sings, the timeless gift your memory